Cool. Hi, everybody. Welcome back. I think it's been my husband's in the kitchen in case anyone can hear that crashing. I think he's cooking, so be afraid. It's been a while since Dave and I have been live. We've been very, very busy in the background, but we'll start with some introductions for those of you who are new here. My name is Jana Kreilein. I am a co-founder of Club dVIN, and background pretty much fully in wine and hospitality. Been in the business for over a decade, have a little bit of a social media following. If you guys know me as the Wine Girl, super cool. Find me on Instagram. But Dave and I have been kind of down the rabbit hole of the intersection of wine and blockchain with Club dVIN for about 2 years now. So it's been a really exciting journey. I'll let Dave introduce himself and then we can.
Sure. Hi, I'm Dave Garrett. I'm a co-founder of Club dVIN. I've been in the wine business for about 20 years, originally a tech guy, and have been doing wine and tech on 4 continents, in Argentina for a while, in Hong Kong for a while, in California, and I live in Barcelona in Spain, and have now, and kind of for the last, on and off for the last 10 years, I've been here, and it's really exciting to be working on this on blockchain. People have been asking me about blockchain and wine for a long time, and I guess 2 years ago we started working on this project, and it's taken us to some really interesting and fun places. So really excited to share kind of where we are and where we're going.
Dave, before we jump in, do you want to just give a quick outline about what Club dVIN is, and then?
Sure. So what we're trying to do at dVIN is we have a vision for putting all luxury wine on the blockchain. That's kind of our big idea, and we've been working with industry experts from around the world for the last couple of years to develop the kind of the outline of what that looks like, and to develop some really specific technology that will help us to get there. Working with cult winemakers from around the world, masters of wine, master soms, wine experts from really every corner of the planet, and kind of figuring out what the needs are, why put luxury wine in the blockchain, and then developing the specific technology that we think will not only create future-proof the industry, but also kind of create some really interesting benefits, not just for wine lovers, but also for winemakers. So that's kind of the nature of dVIN in general. Club dVIN started with, when I started this project, I reached out to all the smartest, brightest people in the industry that I knew, including Jana was one of the first people I called, and just talked to kind of all the smartest people that I knew in the industry from every corner, and Club dVIN started with just kind of tokenizing that group. So if you look on our website, you'll see our founding members. They were the first people to have a token, and we've opened it up very sparingly over the course of the last couple of years to different communities. I think we have 500 or so members now. But what I can confidently say is I don't think we have any members that haven't spoken personally to me or Jana. We've been very careful about who we've let into Club dVIN, and will continue to be. We like to think of Club dVIN as our community of guinea pigs. As we develop this technology, they get access to it first, which means sometimes they get kind of clunky solution, but they also get really cool alpha. We've the wine that we've dropped over the course of the last year directly from some of the best winemakers in the world has been, amazing finds. Most of the time, the last few bottles in the world at ex chateau pricing, which is pretty amazing, and then also kind of amazing once in a lifetime wine events and experiences, and then we'll talk a little bit more about that later. But that's kind of the nature of Club dVIN. Does that answer the question, Jana?
You've ever gone through that, Dave. I am so proud.
I am definitely talking at 1.5 speed.
So concise. All right. So Dave and I have been very busy. In case you guys are wondering where we've been for the last couple of weeks, I know we haven't been sending out as many podcast episodes or Substack newsletters as usual, but that is for good reason. Dave and I have both recently been to Bhutan. We're going to tell you a little bit about that, why we were there, what kind of collaboration we're doing there shortly. But I just want to make sure everybody who's watching this right now hangs on until the end, because at the end of this AMA, of course, we're going to open up for questions into the comments here on YouTube during the whole thing, and we'll answer them as we go. But at the very end, we're going to be giving away a magnum of rare grower champagne. So be sure you stick around till the end. That is definitely worth trying to take away. So we've been busy. We've been in Bhutan. Why Bhutan? First of all, if anyone doesn't know where Bhutan is, it's in the Himalayas, right, very near to Nepal, between kind of India, China, and Nepal. It's not around the corner for Dave or I. He's in Barcelona. Quite a trek, but we have a really, really cool collaboration going on with the Bhutan Wine Company, which, in case you didn't know, Bhutan does not have a wine industry. They never have before, which is pretty unique. Wine grows almost all over the world, pretty much everywhere. The cracks in the sidewalk. There's grapevines everywhere. So Bhutan didn't have a wine industry. One of our founding members, Michael Juergens, went over there and decided he was going to take it into his hands and start one. That was about 8 years ago. Since then, he's given Club dVIN the exclusive right to take part in the inaugural harvest. And that's going to happen next year. So Dave and I went over. He was there 2 weeks ago. I was there last week. And we led 2 weeks of steering committee trips. So basically, we took a few of our members, kind of hand selected a couple people, took them over. It was kind of do a dry run of how those weeks are going to go next year. It was really, really interesting. There's a lot of logistics to kind of map out. Dave, you want to give a little bit about your experience in Bhutan? Because we were there separately.
Yeah. Well, I don't think, based on the updates on our Instagram, what's it called? Instagram stories.
Highlight reel.
I highlight reel. I want to say your week got a little bit of a benefit. I think your week had an especially fun week. I went with my daughter. I took my 12-year-old daughter to Bhutan, and I got a lot of really, really good daddy points. But what it meant is I didn't get to participate in the late night Bhutanese karaoke parties. So I had a little bit of a different experience, but really had an amazing time. We went and learned. We saw wineries. I think we saw 7 different vineyards from all over the country. We harvested the first grapes, and one of the moments that we had, because we went first, is we I think the day that we went and harvested grapes in the I think we did Bajo first. So we did Bajo, and then I remember, like, that night, or it was actually the next morning, coming to breakfast, and like Mike was sort of sitting there by himself having breakfast, and I sat down across from Mike, and he was like kind of deep in thought, and I was like, I think we might be the only people alive who have ever done a first harvest in a country before. Because the last people to do it, I think we're probably in New Zealand 90 years ago. So that's I don't think anyone alive has ever done it.
So it depends, right? Going to be the newest whole wine industry since New Zealand. There have been countries, for example, like Myanmar. The winemaker actually, who's going to be the head winemaker, or is already the head winemaker in Bhutan, he started a winery in Myanmar. So there have countries that didn't have wineries before that have created wines, but it's not the same scale at all. So this is really compared to New Zealand. Dave's right. But yeah,
anyways, it was kind of interesting, kind of a powerful moment. I know for Mike, people have been telling him for 8 years that this is crazy, and something, it's never going to work and it's not going to happen, and bananas. And for him to have fruit ripen and to be harvesting grapes that are well within the margins to the sugar margins to make wine. Like, there will be wine made this year, and a lot of people had told him that would never happen. So really, really, I don't know, powerful, exciting. Obviously the whole place is just unbelievably beautiful. I recommend everyone go and look at our highlight reels. Let's put a link in the chat so that people can go, so that people that are not, social media friendly can go and like look at the actual stuff. That'd be great. Before I turn it back over to Jana, I also want to say, we've touted this as an AMA. We've got lots to talk about, and we're going to keep talking. But if you do have questions, please ask in the chat. We're going to be, I'll be watching the chat. Jana's going to be watching the chat. Feel free to interrupt us at any time. We're happy to answer questions, and we'll pause every once in a little while and kind of go through the questions. So please feel free to ask if you've got questions that you want to ask us, because I know we've been sort of we've been off the reservation for a couple months with our heads down. So happy to answer any questions about not only what we're talking about, but if you've got other questions as well, don't hesitate to put them up in the chat.
Yeah, and I actually already noticed in the comments here, Florian, Bhutan wines. You are right. Bhutan is a very, very happy place. So, okay, I'll kind of give my summarized version of my week, because I think we did have kind of different weeks, Dave. I mean, some of the highlights for me, the first day we liked Tiger's Nest, which is just this like kind of bucket list experience. I think the Tiger's Nest, it's this temple it's like literally clinging on these rocks. You've got to hike up for, I think it takes a couple hours to get up to the top. It was the most beautiful hike. There's everywhere in the trees as you go up, and it's just this like jaw dropping and kind of humbling experience. That was day one, started strong. The next day we went and checked out one of the vineyards that just looks like, I can't even imagine how it got there. We were driving up along this cliff and we stopped the van, and Mike got out and was like, look down. And we were all like, okay, like, what are we looking for? You're kind of driving between these two big canyons, and there's a wild river running through the middle. And then in the middle of it all, down at the point at the bottom of where these two huge cliffs come together, there's this vineyard. Logistically, my jaw dropped. Incredible. And we got in boleros and we drove down there and we checked out the vines and we harvested and we drank, we had champagne cooling in the Himalayan glacier runoff, which is just the coolest
That was my idea. My idea from week one, and I sent it to you guys. So you have me to thank for that.
And it was great. It was great. And we went for a swim. There's like this area in the river where the rocks there's like a wading pool. So definitely wouldn't recommend going out any further, but we got in, like everybody was in the water drinking champagne, and it was awesome. We had a picnic. So that was a big, just seeing some of the vineyards and seeing the quality of them. And even some of the vineyards where they've never had vineyards before. So there's trial and error. They planted over 13 grape varieties, and they're just trying to figure out what works well where. And it's vineyard has this wasp problem. I've never seen a wasp that can actually break through the skin of a grape before, but they found that there. So it's like, okay.
Murder hornets, I think they were murder hornets.
Yeah, I've never seen anything
enormous.
Like that before. Yeah. That's an issue that I've never heard of anywhere in the world before. So it's really fascinating. It's a great learning project. And some of the vineyards look healthier than any vineyard I've ever seen in my life. And it was incredible. So Bhutan next year, for anybody is interested in this trip and is thinking, I want to make wine history, no big deal, then Bhutan is the experience. It's a once in a lifetime experience. We're going to be doing harvest trips for 10 weeks. So exact dates aren't released yet because it depends on when the grapes are ripe. and at altitudes like we're working with in Bhutan. That's a little bit different than the kind of harvest timeframes you might have heard of before. So we're going to be releasing the pretty soon, actually, are the rough dates, and you'll be able to actually start signing up and paying your deposit in November, right, Dave?
Yeah, and so we're going to start either next week or the week after. Every week, same time every week, we're going to have a live session with different people. So we're going to invite the founders of the Bhutan Wine Company. We're going to invite the different people from the steering committee. And so between now and the end of November, and again, it might not start next week, it might start the week after, but we'll have a regular session every week where people can come on. We'll talk about the experience that we had. We'll share, as we start putting the plans together for next year, we'll start planning. We'll start letting people know about those dates, and basically over the course of the next, let's call it 12 weeks, you'll have the ability to come in, ask questions, not just of us, but of the people that are kind of in charge and that are organizing it, and we'll be releasing that information kind of in those sessions, and then obviously on our website over time. But yeah, between there will be 100 spots. We're doing 10 weeks, 10 people a week. There will be 100 spots, and those 100 spots will open up in sometime in mid-November this year. And the trips will start in July, and we'll run from July through September next year.
Yeah. Okay, cool. If you guys need any more information about that, just shoot Dave or I an email. I think that's probably the best now, or just reach out to us on social. We're all over social. We're on Discord every day. You can reach out to us on Twitter and Instagram or Facebook or LinkedIn, wherever. Dave's email is d@clubdvin.com. I am j@clubdvin.com. So feel free to give us a shout. Other news, aside from all
actually, before we move on from Bhutan, let me just answer the quick question by Charlie in the chat, and just say, so we use the Ethereum chain for our membership tokens, and we use Polygon for right now for our digital corks and tasting tokens, and let me also say we absolutely don't limit access to Club dVIN members. In fact, the vast majority of the users on the platform aren't members. We do limit access to some of our benefits to members, right? Like, so first access to the wine drops is for members. And so far, our members have bought out. It hasn't made it to, other than one drop did make it to the general public. And the same thing for this trip. The Bhutan memberships will go, or the Bhutan slots will go to members first, but anyone can get on our platform. If you go to app.clubdvin.com, you can sign in. Even if you don't have a wallet, you can sign in using your Google account. You can look around, and anyone can claim tasting tokens. Anyone can have a digital cork in their wallet. It is not just available to members. It's available to everyone.
That's right. And speaking of wine drops, we have wine drop coming up next week, August 16th. As usual, it's going to go live at 1 p.m. Eastern time. I'm not going to tell you what wine it is, in case we've got some detectives on here. It is the Petrus of Saint-Emilion. So figure it out. We're going to be releasing all the information shortly on our social channels. So you will know in advance, but I'm not giving it away today. Super limited wine. And again, that is members only. If it doesn't sell out, which I kind of don't see happening, then we may open it up to the public.
I think we got the last, Rodolfo's going to kill me if I'm wrong on this, but I think we've got the last 60 bottles in the world of this wine. Really kind of an amazing thing. So, and let me also answer Larry's question. It's true, Club dVIN members are going to have the ability to invite additional people to join. That will be in place at the end of the year. We're still putting the finishing touches on that, but before the end of the year, we're hoping that the idea for us is to provide people with the ability to gift of membership to friends and family for the holidays. So that's in process and should be in place by, like I said, end of November, Larry. So we've been working on it, and I think we've got the position in place for it. Yes, that'll be, well, I'm not gonna, I can't confirm if that's gonna be a free mint, Larry. We're still in the process of working out the details on it. Cheval Blanc, look at that. It's a good guess.
That is a good guess. We had some of that in Bhutan, actually, didn't we, Dave?
We did. We were very, very fortunate.
We had
we drank some pretty good wines in Bhutan.
Yeah. Until Bhutan has their first wine ready, we've got this when we go. And next year, we definitely won't have any shortage of great wines for those who come, and because everyone who comes on that trip next year, or those trips next year, right? Like, this is not a glamorous come have a picnic with us. This is a get your hands dirty, help us break ground on the Sir Kim Winery, the kingdom's first ever winery. So
pack your hiking, and you're gonna come home with purple fingernails and a lot of grape stains on your clothes. So be prepared for that.
Yeah, and don't worry about the murder hornets. They're all right. They're all right. Okay. So what else? So we have to talk about, we've got a lot of really exciting partnerships coming up in September. We are going to be part of a super cool castle party in Burgundy in the first weekend of September. And so Dave and I will both be there. We'll be pouring some awesome wines. If you guys are interested in coming, it's the 3rd and 4th of September in Chablis. So anyone interested in that, let us know.
That's going to be super, super fun. And we're doing it with Trevor Jones and Maker's Place. Was I not supposed to say that?
I was being vague, but you know what? Go for it, Dave. You do you.
Yeah, it's gonna be cool. It's gonna be super, super cool. If you're gonna be in the Paris/Burgundy area and you're a member, let us know. Really, let us know, because it's gonna be cool. Let me just answer James's question really quick. So right now there is a secondary market for digital corks. It's available on Rarible. So we kind of built a little place on Rarible where you can go and bid on digital corks. So far, I think there's only been 2 transactions. So there haven't been much, but we are working on something a lot that is where, I mean, you can transact on OpenSea or anywhere where any marketplace that supports Polygon. But we're building something that's going to be what we hope will be a much better market for secondary marketplace for digital corks, that's coming up in Q1 of next year.
Correct. Okay. Next partnership, Dave, let's keep this one a little more vague. Okay. Don't,
Yeah. Okay. Sorry.
All right. So we are also going to be in New York in September. Let me see. Dave, go for it.
I can be vague. We're with one of our, so we've been very fortunate to have some really good friends in the Web3 community, and one of our good friends in the Web3 community has invited us to participate in the unveiling of what's going to be a really, really, really cool new community that's going to start in late September, and they've invited us to come in and help out. So if you're based in New York, let us know. We're going to be in town. It's unclear who we're going to be able to invite to this event, but if there are enough people in New York that want us to do something on the side, we can do like a fun tasting event. We've got a bunch of friends in New York that we can put something together. So if you're based in New York, let us know.
Cool. And then
how did I do?
You did. That was great. Right. I hope this time I can actually make it to New York with you. Last time that. Okay, that's another story. So now the highlight of this AMA and actually, so how we've been promoting this AMA is to tease out what we believe could very well become of the decade for the wine scene. So Dave, testing
Sure.
your vague abilities again.
No. So I've been very fortunate to have been a party to a lot of really interesting new things in the wine business. You know, I've been fortunate to go to a lot of really amazing events and to see a lot of amazing things. You know, last year we opened with Robert Parker and Sine Qua Non a $3 million bottle of wine at an event. We opened a Goliath of Sine Qua Non, the 2003-11 Confessions, for 100 people. That was incredible, and one of the most interesting experiences that I've ever seen. What we have coming up is dwarfs that by 100 times. You know, I'm going to tell a little tiny story. So, because I've been in the wine business all over the world for a little while, I get called in sometimes as a subject matter expert for wine, for film and television in wine. So every once in a while, I get a phone call saying, "Hey, there's something interesting happening. We're doing a television show, or we're doing a movie. Can you help us to just kind of make sure that we've got this right, or can you look into this, or can you help us to make sure that we're doing this? We're doing the wine part of this right." And I've been doing that for a few years, and I've been party to a couple of documentaries. I've been party to a couple of television shows. I've helped to create a couple of television shows around wine. So I got called in January to scope out a story that had been going around about this kind of most amazing story, most incredible find in wine in decades. And on a lark, I didn't believe that it was true, and so I decided that I would take a couple of days out of my week and go and just see if there was any truth to it. And what I will tell you is, I found basically the Loch Ness monster of wine. It is an amazing story, and we're going to start telling our members about that story. So over the course of the next couple of weeks, if you're a member, you're going to get a private invite to a private webinar where we're going to get on and tell you the story of what's coming in kind of the end of this year, beginning of next year. That'll be members only for the first month or so, and then we're going to open it up to our overall mailing list. But what I will tell you is, it's not just a story. There's going to be some experiences. There's going to be some alpha associated with this, and it's going to blow everybody away. It's just one of the most amazing things I've ever seen, and I've seen a lot of amazing things in wine. So some really, really cool stuff coming. Really pay attention. What I'm saying is this: if you're a member or if you're on our mailing list, watch your inbox, because there's some fun stuff coming. If you're able to join one of our, you're going to get a notice that'll say there's a invite only webinar. If you can make it, because this is going to be one of those things that you're going to want to be in the first moments of.
Wow, you were perfectly
How was that,
vague.
Jana?
That was great.
Look at
That
that.
was great.
Yeah.
See, I was getting. Oh, he's about to. No.
No. Spill the beans. Not going to do
And
it.
I will also say, as Dave started, I can remember getting the call from him after he went and checked it out and found out it was a real. And yeah, wait for it. Keep an eye on those inboxes. It's really incredible. So, okay. We have covered pretty much everything.
I want to answer.
Yeah.
So I'm going to answer Charlie's question, and then we're going to probably we're over time. So I think I'll answer Charlie's question. Then why don't you do the giveaway, and then we'll call it a night. No, go ahead. Jana, you froze on my screen. You still there?
Champagne. I'm there. Was I frozen or you?
Nope. One of us was, but now you're back.
Everyone watching knows. Anyway, anyone who's interested in the champagne giveaway, before Dave answers that question, anyone who's interested, drop an in the comments here, and then we're gonna pick one of you at random. So just so I know who's here still, everybody put an emoji in the chat, and Dave, go ahead and answer that question.
All right. So let me first say that everyone that's asking about like dates for New York or the information for Burgundy, that's all going to be announced on our socials and in our email. So if you're on our email list or you follow us on any one of the platforms, you're gonna find out about that. All of the wine, and Charlie, just to answer your question, all of the wine is ex chateau. Everything that we put on the platform is ex chateau. It's directly from the winery. And then let me answer your question about digital corks. So yeah, a digital cork is an NFT that is associated with an individual bottle. So it's 1-to-1. And the storing of the wine. So we have basically two different categories. We follow our long-term goal is to follow chain of custody on chain from grape to glass, meaning from the winery until the time that someone opens that bottle, we follow chain of custody on chain. Now, that's not possible to do right now. There's some there's some things that still need to be invented. There's some technology that still needs to be adopted in the supply chain. But for right now, we offer basically a binary chain of custody, meaning that the wine is either at the winery or at a trusted bonded warehouse. So it's at the winery, it's at Bordeaux City Bond, it's at Berry Brothers, it's at London City Bond, it's at Vin Porter, it's at any one of our trusted partners where it's in a bonded warehouse, and we know that we can guarantee that that wine has perfect provenance. Or if you have the wine shipped to you, we update that information on chain that wine has left the trusted, our trusted circle. So that wine, it's either unshipped, meaning that it's at the winery or at a bonded warehouse, or it is shipped, meaning that it has left that circle of trust. So we don't burn the token when it leaves the circle of trust, but we update the blockchain so that anyone who wants to buy a bottle knows that bottle has been shipped to an individual and knows to trust it a little bit less. So the idea is for us to, over time, provide perfect transparency, not just for consumers, so that you know where that in every individual bottle has been, but for the winemaker as well, so that they know where their bottles are in the world. And we think that transparency over time is going to be a huge disincentive against fraud and counterfeit. Because, if you can look at two different bottles and see that one of them has been at Bordeaux City Bond for 20 years, and the other one was shipped and has traveled all around the world, you're going to pay a lot more money for the one that's been sitting. Because of that, we think that price differential is going to significantly decrease any incentive that anyone would have to commit fraud or counterfeit on investment grade wines. So that's our that's kind of our premise working against. We know it's going to take a lot of time before before that's perfected. And it's going to take a lot of technology adoption by the wine supply chain, but that's really our goal. Hope that answers the questions. And I'm going to turn it over to Jana.
All right, cool. So thanks, Dave. I it up and noted everybody's username who still seems to be active. All right, and now I'm gonna generate a random number. I've got 18 of you guys. Looks like there's 26 people watching, but 18 of you have been active since I mentioned that. Anyone else? Last chance. I'm gonna randomly generate a number using Google. Random number generator. Got it. Between 1 and 18. Ready? Generate. Number 30 is Ryan Carey. Maria, I already have you counted, don't worry. All right, Ryan Carey, you have to send Dave and I an email with your wallet address. Drop the digital cork of a rare grower champagne, a magnum, into your wallet. If you don't already have a wallet hooked up with a dVIN account, we'll build you one. We'll set you all up. I can do a demo with you, but you won the champagne. So cool.
Congratulations. And we are 7 minutes over. So I think I did a pretty good job, Jana. I'd like to get a round of applause for you for sticking with it.
All right. Thanks so much, everyone. I've just put Dave and I into the comments for Ryan. Be sure to reach out to us. Thanks so much, Dave. I'm so impressed with how patience with you though, because we have tended to go over pretty far on these. So thanks everybody for showing up, and we'll see you again soon. And I hope you're in Bhutan next year.
Thanks everybody. Talk soon. Bye-bye.